This is 11 honors, and I'm passing out an assignment for the book Pride and Prejudice, which you read this one, right? All right. I'm going to ask you, and the AP's doing it too because they're juniors, and that was a junior book. I want to tell you what's on here. They're doing it too. I encourage them not to do it jointly with others. It's supposed to be an assignment, maybe a quiz grade. So please do it on your own. This is something called Major Works Data Sheet, and I thought it would be useful to do for this class. So what I want you to do is fill this out for Pride and Prejudice. You have a week to do it. So next week would be, a week from today would be the 22nd. First day of fall. So I want you to fill out. Let me show you what I'm asking you to do. Turn to the first page. First, your name is on it. But the first page, I want you to fill out number 1, all that information. Genre, I go ahead and give that to you. It's a novel of manners. M-A-N-N-E-R-S. So you may not know what that is, and that's one thing I'm going to ask you to look up. Novel of manners. That's the genre. And I'm not quite sure exactly when the publication is, so find out when it was originally published, not when your copy of it was printed. All right, number 2, find out a little information about that time period of when it was published. It's in the 1820s. What's happening in England in the 1820s? Just write some things down about what's happening in England in the 1820s. 3, look up a little bit of information about Jane Austen and put it there. Number 3B is when you look up novel of manners, what does that mean? Define that. Write that here. You can look it up on online, and I'm sure you can find an example. A definition. That goes there. Plot summary is just that. Give me a summary of what happens and make sure that it includes the whole book. I'm sure you read it, but if you only tell me what happens in the first half of the book, then I'm going to assume you didn't read the second half. So you don't want to give me that impression if you did in fact read it. Turn the page. This one, 5 and 6 are hard to it's not hard to explain, but you're just not in a position yet, neither are the AP students, to do very well on this. But start at number 6. I want you to write down a sentence, even a quote, particularly a sentence that's not something somebody says. It's not like but write down a sentence that you find. Any sentence, big book, you can give me any sentence, but you're gonna pick this sentence because this is typical of the way she seems to write to you. This sentence is the way Jane Austen writes. That goes to number 6. Number 5, I don't think you yet have the terminology to discuss this. Try. Describe what her style is like. Style includes the subject matter as well as the way she writes. Like if you wrote down Mark Twain, I could probably tell without telling me who it is. If you gave me a sentence that Mark Twain wrote, I bet and you might be able to do that too, would know immediately who it is because he has a distinct style. So I'm asking you to write down a sentence from the book that you think is representative of the kind of writing that she does, and then an explanation. All right, number 7, I want you to write down at least 5 quotes and 5 explanations. I'll have to find it up there, but I think the book that I read it out of, before you even start the book, has a list of quotations. You could use that. I guess I wouldn't know, but that's not the spirit of it. The spirit would be to find some quotations that you particularly liked and you thought were significant. So that's, if you're going to do it by the spirit of the rule, that's what I'm looking for. Flip the page to this is 7 to 15 characters. This will take you longer than the others. First column, the name of the character. Second column, the role in the story. So what is the role? Is he the father? She's one of the sisters. He was, and I'm gonna have to review it myself. I can't even remember names. And then the significance of that character and adjectives to describe. Like, I guess the main character is, she's smart. You know, I'm thinking of just, she's sophisticated. She's strong. You know, I'm thinking of those three terms. So you need adjectives. And notice it says adjectives with an S. That means more than one. And then finally, the last page, the setting. You know, obviously England, 19th century, maybe 1820s or earlier. But what about inside that setting? Like, it takes place at so-and-so's house, and London a little bit, and somebody else's house. So just describe the setting. Do you remember anything about the setting? Well, you have a week to kind of find that. And then look at the symbols. Symbols would be, I think in this case, something like maybe one of the houses. That a house could be a symbol of something, or whatever it is. And notice it has an S on it. So give me more than one. Look at number 11. Significance of the opening scene. I remember that pretty vividly. The opening scene is when they get invited to that person's house, or they want to get, this new guy's moved into town. I remember it shows the family. The last scene, I can't remember exactly. I have to look at it again, but it seemed like it had something to do with the time they got married. It's a marriage scene. Whatever it is, explain the significance of that scene. And then finally, possible themes. What are some of the main ideas? I think marriage would have to be a pretty big one. How about the role of women? That would be a pretty big one. What about just thinking honesty or something like that? Faithfulness. That would be also important. That's due next Wednesday. I want to go ahead and put it up here. To add it there to make sure it's on there. Also, I'll put this online. You don't need it because you have a copy, but if you lost it, there'll be a copy of this on Blackboard. All right, any questions about that? All right, let me give you these. Now, the other two ladies have not taken it yet, so please keep this to yourselves. This is the quiz from yesterday, and there's a paper in there, the paper that you did. Who was that? Isabella. Delaney. Laura. Isabella did a good job with that, and Delaney, you did a good job.
This says hats. I know it looks like not a T, but like I don't like
The man who makes women.
I know it really doesn't look like it, but like,
All right.
that's really
I
what
give
it
you
is.
some credit, but you usually cross that.
I know, I was just trying to
You
write.
do that, most of you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a T here. I see a T. This,
I barely cross.
no, all right. You don't want to do that because,
It's just because I keep writing fast.
yeah. But if you get points taken off because they didn't read it, that's, so let me see if I can fix that. That was an entire point, let's see, the 25-4.
Do you have a hole punch?
No, I just had forgotten to bring it. I don't,